Oh, wait, Carlos is coming. He can tell you.
Prionarbudin. Budin. I didn't do it until Arne told me to, in a very strict voice. My Icelandic is terrible. Hi everyone, and welcome to our YouTube channel, where as always your hosts Arne and Carlos. And last year we recorded a video on steeking, kind of like a revisited. We steeked this sweater here.
Old sweater.
That is now becoming a jacket because it shrinked in the closet after 40 years.
It did. Not the sleeves, but the body.
Yeah, and then we showed it actually during a sit and knit for a bit because we had a problem with the storm. Very dramatic storm here in Norway at the time. So now we're back and we're going to continue doing the cardigan or converting this sweater into a cardigan. And now what has happened since we left you is that we have knitted a placket, or Arne has knitted a placket.
The first placket.
And we're going to put it on.
And we knitted this while we were in Sweden, seeing your parents, and I didn't bring the jacket, so it's a little bit longer, but I actually knitted to be sure that it was a little bit longer because I'm going to tell you later why.
How you fix that as well.
Yeah, and the placket is 8 stitches. This one has 8 stitches for the facing and 9 stitches for the placket.
Yeah.
And that is 1 knit and 1 purl for the placket that you show, that's visible. And then the inside is the stockinette.
Yeah. So a lot of people, before we keep going, Arne, or you can start.
I can start sewing because this time I decided I will do it like the proper way. So I will try to stitch it down, because normally I just use the
machine.
No, I just put needles and I sew it, and I don't mind if this.
Yeah, you sew it with a sewing machine.
Yeah, and I don't mind if the line.
Yeah.
In the knit next to the placket is a little bit off sometimes.
But today you're going to do it properly.
I will try to do it properly since it's on video.
Yeah, so you're going to stitch it down. You're going to stitch down the placket by hand, and then you're going to sew it. Now, before you do all of that, I mean, you can start stitching. But I'm going to explain a little bit about the placket because we've done this video before, and a lot of people struggled understanding exactly what the facing is. And facing, it literally means that it's a fabric that covers the ugly seam or the ugly steek here, the raw edge that you have here. Yeah. And when we did our last video about 4 years ago, we were under the impression that people thought that this piece of knitted fabric is going to be sewn and become something double, where you then open up for buttons and it's double. It's kind of like going from one side to the other, and it's not actually. No. It's only sewn with one seam up, and then it's turned inside out. Yeah, and then you have some fabric that will cover the inside of the seam, and then you have to stitch that down as well afterwards.
Yeah, by hand.
By hand
on the inside.
So the facing is actually only a fabric that covers a raw edge.
The edge from...
And it's not going to be a double placket with buttonholes on both sides of it. That's not how it's done.
No. So let me see.
So anyway.
So now you see that this is the place where the buttons are going. And then this is what's hiding the edge. So when it's sewn down, you fold it over. Yeah, you fold it,
and then you iron here, steam
it with the hot iron and a wet towel.
And then
this one,
you stitch it by hand.
You stitch this by hand,
all the way up.
Yeah, in the bottom like this, and then you also stitch it on the inside all the way up. So the inside of your jacket will be very clean.
Yeah, like this. Very clean, and it's double the length of the other side, which is just one side, because the other side is inside. And
you can actually do this as wide as you like. Yeah. It depends. Maybe you want to add more volume to the garment. You can do a wider one.
So that is the facing. So you're not attaching it double. You're not attaching it from one side onto the other. It's just going on one way and then fold it out.
And fold it out, and then when you have when you're doing the other side, where the buttonhole is, you do exactly the same, but then you knit buttonholes in it.
Yeah.
So let me see.
Which is, I mean, when you're knitting a placket, you might as well just do the buttonholes as well by hand and knit instead of sewing them. But that would be an option too, though.
If you do the buttonholes.
And then a lot of people ask about zippers. How about putting in a zipper instead of buttons?
Then you can. I've never done that, but I think if we had done it, I think I would make a facing as well.
Yeah. To be honest, though,
a smaller tab and the facing just to hide this one, because it's not nice just to hide it with this, with.
And to be honest, this is just my honest opinion, according to my personal taste. But personally, I don't really like. I don't really think zippers go well with this kind of knit. I see zippers more, you know, like if you have a simple kind of like a fleece jacket, you know, sporty that you're gonna wear, you know, to stay warm, and you're gonna do sports in it. Fine to have a zipper, but a garment like this, which is so intricate in itself, and it's so, I mean, you spend a lot of time knitting this beautiful garment. I think it deserves a proper placket, which handmade as well, and it deserves nice, beautiful buttons. In pewter or in metal or even in whatever you want, but you know, nice buttons. And I think we'll leave the zippers for the more sporty kind of looks. But I mean, it's my personal taste, and I think maybe you might agree with me as well.
I like this kind of garments with the traditional buttons, actually.
But if you do put a zipper on, you should do it the same way. It should be done with facing on the inside. To cover the ugly raw edge. But yeah, you can do it, but I would never do it.
If my if the edge will be a little, what did you say, the transition between the placket and the garment will be a little bit so and so.
Yeah.
It's because I can't focus on talking and doing this at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
But this is like the principle. You have to place this so it's on the edge of the opening, and then you sew this down with a sewing machine. It's hard being proper.
Yeah.
It's easier just to be
do it. Yeah.
So I just have more yarn, but you see,
and today's
now you can see like
exactly. It's actually really neat. Yeah. It's really nice.
But then when I finish this and then I've done this sewing with the machine, because you can do it by hand, but we have a sewing machine, so I like to use the sewing machine.
And if I remember correctly, last time you tried this on,
it was too tight.
Even when you opened it, it was too tight.
Yeah.
But now, because you're doing the placket, and it's going to have...
add a little bit.
It's going to add, what's that, 3 centimeters? Yeah. It's going to add 6 centimeters total.
Because it's overlapping.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't get more than 3. But I can wear it open.
That's what I was going to say. It's going to add 6 centimeters total, unless you button it up. When you button it up, it might look a little tight. But I think that if you wear it with the buttons and you wear it open... I think it's going to look quite good.
And I have some nice buttons. So for those of you who saw our Christmas advent calendar, I have buttons.
Yeah, we're going to put them to show you guys later. We're not going to sew them on right now, but we're going to lay them out so you can see what a perfect match these beautiful Icelandic buttons are that we got in Reykjavik. Yeah. In Prjónarbúðin. Prjónarbúðin.
Strikkebua.
Yeah, strikkebua in Norwegian. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it all wrong, Anna. Yeah.
Yeah.
She shakes her head and agrees. Yeah. My Icelandic is terrible.
Your Icelandic is terrible.
Prjónarbúðin. Budin? Yeah. Well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's giving me the eye. Just better stop.
Maybe we have to do fast forward, because I really can't focus and talk. Oh, I'm almost up.
Yeah, you're almost up.
This happens when you try to do it proper.
And anyway, no matter how you pronounce it, it is a great store in Reykjavik. So if you are in Reykjavik, you have to go there and have a look. It's really, really nice.
And I got a really nice book there.
Yeah, with the Icelandic.
With the loopy.
Loopy.
It was all in Icelandic, but if I want to knit it, there are some logic things there, like how many stitches to cast on, and there's the diagram. So
and our pronunciation may be lousy, but if we look at an Icelandic text long enough, I mean, we have to stare at it for quite some time. Eventually, we do get a little bit of the meaning of what it says.
Yeah. So I'm almost up. Yay! So you see, I have a little bit too much, but that's good because then I can just take it out. Because now I want to have the stitches from the placket. The last stitch should match where I'm going to pick up stitches around the neck.
Yeah, so you're going to pick up there, yeah.
So, because you can actually bind off the placket also, but then you have to pick up stitches in the placket.
So Arne,
I don't want to do that.
Last time we were steeking, you made me get up and go pick up the scissors. Do you want me to go get the sewing machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Getting the sewing machine.
Okay, so what I do now is I take out this one and then I just take out some of the, not needles, what was the word again? Some of the, what was the word again? Rounds, not rounds. Oh wait, Carlos is coming, he can tell you. I always say needles because you knit on the needle and you go back and forth, but that is not what the English word is. So, and then I just add some yarn on the stitches so it doesn't unravel, and I keep this scrap yarn on the needles, and I take them out when I finish the plackets on both sides, and then I can pick up the stitches from this.
I'm back.
What do you call this, Carlos? I said I
What?
I unravel some needles, but it's not called
Some rows.
rows. That's the
You
English
unraveled
word.
a few rows.
Unravel a few rows. So just take these stitches on the scrap yarn. Then this is ready for the sewing.
That's very nice.
So
So you leave that there as a
yeah, and
a stitch holder, kind of.
kind of, because you don't want to sew through a stitch holder,
Not a real one, no.
not a real one. But now you have these stitches when you
And also, it's less.
Yeah.
It's more elastic now, as it is.
So when you pick them up now, you can actually pick up these stitches with this one, and these I just put on in yarn and sew them down.
But that'll be
on
an
the inside.
episode later on.
Yeah.
So today we're only focusing on the placket.
Yes, because this takes time. So there you go.
There you go.
Then we can sew this one.
And I have. I'm going to put the buttons in a safe place.
In a safe place.
And I have a sewing machine with me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we need.
Okay, so before you start, I remember from the steeking episode, somebody was wondering why you put that piece of fabric there. So can you explain that?
Because that's something we have always done.
To protect
To protect, maybe.
the machine.
It feels safer to have that fabric under. I don't know. Maybe.
It's for protective measures. It is just you put a piece of fabric there and you keep everything in place, and the needle.
Yeah. It doesn't feel right if you just put this down on the metal.
And
when
this
you're
is
not using
something.
it
This is something you have been doing for
for a long time.
a long time. Yeah. Did you do that when you were a student at Esmond?
Yeah.
Did you do that before?
Yeah.
So it's something you've always done.
My
And-
grandmother did it.
Yeah, I didn't do it until Arne told me to, in a very strict voice. You wouldn't believe it, but he can be very strict
be
as
very
well.
strict.
Yeah. So you need
And
power.
then people are shocked if I'm strict. because I'm always so mellow.
Can be a little bit strict sometimes too.
Of course. So
there you go. You've got some
we have
power.
some black yarn because you don't want to have the blue.
Yeah. And we were also talking about this sewing machine when we did the last episode. And as I was saying, it can do anything except make you coffee.
Yeah.
It is very advanced. It is so advanced, I don't understand half of what's in it, I have to say.
I'm not sure if I understand it either. I know how to do the zigzag and all that, but...
But there's something very Norwegian, you know, Arne? It's very typical Norwegian and not to read instructions. You just, you know...
We hardly never read instructions. Yeah. We just start and see what happens.
So, yeah.
So this should be over there, but...
Do you even know where the instruction book is for this machine? No.
But yeah. we did our folk costumes.
Yeah, but we haven't used any of these stitches yet, so who knows?
But I think this one should go somewhere, I don't know. But do I care? No. So let's add some. I don't need much.
No, I mean it's just a little.
So where's the scissor?
You shouldn't cut.
I cut whatever I want.
Okay. Okay, you see, he is strict.
If I have a problem with the scissor, you can get me a new one. You already gave me one. I got one in the calendar for Christmas. And do I know where that one is? No, I don't know. What are you doing?
Just fixing this, I'm sorry.
This is like watching paint dry. Watching me do this.
But you do it so well. Oops, be careful.
Why did you bring the old machine?
Because this is more fun. It's like a little computer, isn't it?
It is. Don't touch anything because suddenly it goes over my finger.
Oops, yeah, you don't.
And we had some questions, didn't we, about why we do zigzag when we steek and why, like.
Yeah, but the zigzag is so that the stitches are caught. It's more elastic. And
this doesn't make sense because when I steek, I do a zigzag first and then I do a normal seam later, but with very long stitches. And it feels safer because you're going to cut the fabric. And when I have that zigzag and I have that that normal seam with long stitches, it feels better.
Yeah, so it's a little OCD, I guess, a little bit.
It feels good. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So let's get this up, and I guess this machine don't want you to do anything by hand. So.
But when you do the placket now, you don't need to do like 3 seams on top of each other.
No, for the placket I do only one.
One seam is enough.
And let's see, we can do a normal seam and 3.5 sounds good. 3.5. Or is 2.4? Is that?
Well, we'll find out soon.
You can do anything. So then I should try to stick with that one.
The what? The one
in between.
Yeah.
These two. See if it comes out straight. It probably won't, but anyway.
But you know what they say about sewing, huh? It's 95% cheating anyway.
It is.
You can, you know, whatever you do, you can wiggle it and you can get it in place.
I think these are a little bit short. So 3.5 maybe. That's good. Yeah.
Let's see. It's exciting.
Can go back. Now this is better. So now you just sew the placket on. It's embarrassing if it comes out a little bit off, isn't it? The steeking episode we did before didn't have a pattern, so it was actually, it's like a self pattern yarn. So you can't see if you miss a line, but for this one you can actually see it. Let's see what happens. Maybe I can maybe I do it right or maybe I do it wrong. So I think this will be a very nice jacket when it's finished. So, and this is just the first placket. The second placket
we'll have buttonholes.
The buttonholes.
Which means we'll come back with a tutorial later on in the spring, where we will show you how to knit the buttonholes again. We've done it once, but we can do it twice. Yeah, I think we did when we did the other.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it's been 4 years, and we've learned probably because you never stop learning. Huh? I'm sure we've learned a lot of new tips.
No, you
and
can
hacks.
take this away.
And we're trying to show
Turn it
you.
off so you don't hurt anybody.
So anyway, we're going to show you all the new things we learned, you know, since we did the last tutorial. So it's always nice to revisit again.
So let's see how this came out. We have to take this out. This is nice meditation.
Yeah.
Oh, you get so became quiet.
Yeah,
quiet.
I know. It's fun working on this together. So.
Mm-hmm. So, and now we need to iron this. I don't think maybe we don't have to do that on camera, but
no, but we
just
can
iron
show
it with
we can show now the principle of
Yeah.
the facing so people can understand it.
But
And,
we use the iron and the wet towel because then you flatten the fabric. Because when you steek, you have to think about the knit as
A
fabric,
fabric, yeah.
because it's sewing. Went from knitting to sewing. I attached this one really good.
You did, yeah.
Did you get everything out?
Yeah, and then I wanna lay down I'm gonna clear the table so that we can lay down the sweater and add the buttons just to show everybody the look that we're going for, which I think is really nice.
So now let's see what happened.
Now you turn the
Now
placket inside out, kind of.
this is good enough.
Yeah.
So now this one has to be flattened out. We have to iron this down, and then when this is flat, you turn it over like this, and then this one comes over,
And it's going to be sewn there.
and then you sew this on the back, so
Yeah.
you have a very clean inside of your garment.
Yeah.
And I think
And the single
it's the
placket.
same on the sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
I made on this. I made this when I was very young, many years ago, and
You were
my
a baby.
placket was like a garter stitch, but it covers up
Yeah. Can I have it? Okay. So we're going to put it back here, and then I'm just going to lie it down, and we are going to close it, or kind of, yeah.
So,
And as long as you don't button it, Arne, you've got 6 extra centimeters now, too, which can be good.
I'm gonna button it up.
And since I gave you the buttons, I'm going to give you the honor of placing them and showing people what it's going to look like when it's done.
Yep. So we have 7 buttons. I have this discussion with myself. Should I have a button on the neckline, or should I just use like we have on the Setesdal sweater, the hooks?
Yeah.
Because that is also very nice to have
A hook, yeah. If we find one that matches, we'll do that. But I got you 7 buttons anyway because I thought that was a good number.
So now I just have to decide the distance on the buttons.
I think these.
I'm going to use the measure tape to have it the right distance.
But
So
I think-
maybe I keep one as a reserve.
You may do that, yeah.
That's always good if I lose one.
Yeah.
I think that's...
Yeah, otherwise we just have to go back to the store in Reykjavik, which is nice.
You can do like when you buy a garment, there's a button hidden like
Inside,
this on the inside, so you have one in
A spare.
one extra. So what we're going to do now, we're going to block it or steam it with the iron.
And a wet cloth.
Make it flat, and then we're going to sew it on the inside. Then we have to decide where we're going to have the buttonholes, and then the next step is that we're knitting the other one.
Yeah, and then you'll have to take a measurement so you know how many rows
before I make a buttonhole.
Before you make a buttonhole. And that'll be the next tutorial that we do, which is going to be the buttonhole placket.
And then we sew that on, and then we pick up stitches for the neckline. And
And are you going to create a lovely little picot edge for the neckline?
Yeah,
is that
I think
what you're going to do?
we need to have that.
That's nice.
Because that's nicer. And then if you do when you do the neckline, you also make it double with the picot. And when you make it double, you fold it down, and then it will cover up. Because you have the raw edges here as well, so it will cover up these raw edges.
So let me take the buttons so you don't lose them.
So
7, put them back in the little button bag.
So I think the important thing now is that you understand that this piece that is stuck in it is the facing that cover up the raw edge.
Yeah.
This way you make your jacket nice on the inside.
And just stitch that down after you steam it. So you need to do a little bit of work with your iron there before you can actually...
And you know, Carlos, we went to that thrift shop in the store in Lillehammer, and I saw some sweaters. I didn't buy them, but I was actually thinking maybe we should buy some old sweaters and steek them.
Yeah.
I want more jackets.
Yeah, maybe we should go back.
A lot of my jackets are worn out, actually.
And I still owe you a few enthusiastic hours at the thrift shops after what I've put you through in Iceland. So
you do.
I guess, Lagoon Gate, if you haven't heard of that.
I have to go to Iceland every now and then just to get you into the shops. Yeah. And stay in that hot water for a while. And
I made Arne stay in the hot water, and now I have to suffer in the thrift stores enthusiastically.
Yeah, I think my edge is quite nice. I can actually tweak it a little bit when I iron it.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah, you can always remember.
It's good enough for me.
Yeah, and remember, whatever if you don't feel it's straight enough, you can always take it up and do it again, or you can, try a little bit with the iron and the heat. Yeah. You can actually shape the yarn or the wool and tweak it. Fake it till you make it. That's a good way to do it.
Stitch it down to make it more nice if you think it's very important.
Yeah. So there's ways to get around it so you don't have to redo it again.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Steeking part 2.
It's coming along beautifully. And as I said before, as long as you don't button it up, it'll look perfect on you. So on me, it's a lost cause.
But I can skip those and I can have those hooks all the way. And then I have actually those 6 centimeters extra.
Yeah, if you hook it, that's true.
If I hook it, not button it. Okay, formalities.
If you like this episode, please give it a big thumbs up. Give us some comments as well. If, as you've seen or noticed today, we've been answering a lot of the questions people were asking in the comments of the previous episode, the steeking one. So if you have more questions that you need answered, make sure to put them down in the comments. And hit that notification button if you're a subscriber so that you never miss an episode because you'll get notified. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you're not already doing it. And
we have a lot of things going on.
We do have a mailing list, and we have a website, and we have Instagram, and we have Facebook. We have everything. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again soon with a new part of the steeking tutorial and with other tutorials that we do every Sunday here on our channel. Yep. So see you again next week. Bye. Bye.